Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me get this, Cheers. Let me line this up here. There you go. Cheers. Probably my favorite coffee mug. Not plugging any companies specifically. I love all coffee, but the Bones Coffee Company. Can y'all see that? Mint invaders from outer space, son. Doesn't get any better than that. So, we got a bear. All right, let me move this around a little bit. And let me backtrack. We have a neighbor on this street who feeds deer. You know, they got the whole Snow White thing going on, son, where they're out here feeding the deer, feeding the animals. They got food all over the place out back for animals. And this is now drawn in a bear into the neighborhood. And I'm sick of getting hit by this joker, to be honest with you. We've all got cams set up. We've all, pictures of this bear. It's huge. It's a full-grown black bear. I don't know how much it would weigh per se, but it's a full-grown one. And they just throw trash everywhere. I mean, you'll find your trash cans, which are huge, slung halfway through the yard. And I had to do this morning, and it just sucks, My next door neighbors they're very tired of it as well. They had part of their Sears fencing completely tore down because he had tried to bring his trash cans, I guess, inside the Sears fencing near the back deck. And I mean, this bear just went over the fence and completely collapsed the Sears fencing at the top. So they call the game warden. The game warden's like, well, there's man, this camera's getting on my nerves here. There we go. Maybe that's better. Game warden's like, well, you really can't shoot these things. You can get rubber bullets. Rubber bullets. And after the game warden left, my neighbor has a AR with all the fixings. I've got several things. I'm like, we could put an end to it. But I'm not trying to dig a hole that big, to be honest with you. There's a lot of manual labor there. Plus, I would hate the thoughts of doing anything bad like that to an animal when it's being drawn out by, some goofball down the street. Who, by the way, tries to gaslight everybody in the neighborhood. Oh, no, we're not feeding animals. But you be out mowing and you can literally see them down there putting the food out. Like, you got clones living down there? What's going on, son? So anyway, I thought I would bring that in. It's been a few weeks, sadly. And last week, I had a 30-ish minute video filmed, ready to go, and it was in 4K. I was very impressed. And then my crew here, they could not get it to upload. I don't know if it has something to do with the 4K camera. I don't know what was going on, but it would not upload. We tried 3 or 4 days, and I'm just like, forget it. I'll redo some sort of video the following week. So I'm going to be talking about a conversation that I had at Easter dinner that involves prepping. But again, Easter was a hot minute ago, as my son would say. So just understand that this conversation I originally covered in a video last week. I want to talk about a couple of comments as well before we get rolling. That's hot. But I love the mug, you know what I'm saying? So, first of all, people have said, we miss you when you were posting content. I miss y'all too. But I cashed a lot of things out, and your old boy over here's retired, basically. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to be dropping anything else on YouTube, and eventually I'll write more books probably, but I mean, there's no rush. There's no rush at this point. I don't care. The economy doesn't bother me at this point. It is what it is. So your old boy's just been sitting back, being lazy, watching TV shows and movies and things, and spring cleaning, doing housework, doing yard work, lots of that. And matter of fact, I was speaking with Dynamite yesterday back and forth via text. I'm on my second way through Lonesome Dove, but it's neither here nor there. Great show, by the way. Easter. No. Let me get to a couple more comments. I'm sorry. I should have written this stuff down, but again, it's been a few weeks, and I'm treading water over here. What you want me to tell you? What you want me to tell you? I'm being as honest as I can. So, somebody said, man, John, I hate the way you always go after other channels in your videos. And I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember the exact wording. Again, I don't have it written down. It's not that I'm always going after other channels, but I have to mention the fact that some channels just are there to cause chaos, which we are going to get into in this conversation, I promise you. And it'll make more sense, okay? So just hang with me. If you've hung with me this far, I appreciate it. I'm going to explain it in great detail. And finally, somebody said, where's the conspiracy stuff at? When are we going to start talking about conspiracies? Let me tell you something. Go back and watch the other videos. Because since the beginning of the year, I've left little bitty hints all throughout the background, or I've said certain things in the dialogue. I've dropped little Easter eggs in every video. Nobody's picked up on any of it. So let me be super clear. We are not alone. I think we are not alone. We'll talk about that some other time, but getting to the Easter conversation, because again, we have Easter dinner. We always have our dinners at our mother and father-in-law's house, or my mother and father-in-law's house, my wife's parents. And like all the family goes there. You know what I mean? I'm sure some of you have this same experience. They all know that, hey, you know, I'm writing books, and hey, they know about the prepping and stuff, and they know about the YouTube channel. At least most of them do. They don't really understand it. I think a lot of them maybe don't check it out. A few of them do. I don't know. But sitting there with the extended family, most of them were, because there's several rooms where we eat. It's a pretty big family. There were a few of us sitting in the living room, and they were playing. They had on, good Lord, what they have on? One of the John Wicks, the one where the guy has the dog. It was either number 3 or number 4, I think, but neither here nor there. And one of the extended family, she asked me, John, when it comes to prepping, what are you worried about right now? She's one of the people who know I have the channel. And I immediately started with an answer, and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I hope that, you know, I hope she doesn't think I'm being a smart aleck, or I'm talking down like I'm condescending or something. And hopefully, as I explain the answer, hopefully y'all don't think that way, because I'm not trying to be, okay? But it got all biblical in there for a second. I said, I said, you're not supposed to be worried about anything. Christians out there, am I right? We're not put here to worry. And I'm not trying to street preach to y'all or anything, but that's just how the answer started. Getting back to, just for a brief second, the channels that John, you're always attacking these channels. These channels exist to make you afraid. You understand? Fear merchants, as sometimes I call them. And you're not here to be afraid. So I just feel compelled sometimes to get on here and say, hey man, maybe you're watching the wrong channels. I'm not going to tell you what channels to watch, but if you constantly have anxiety and fear, you're probably tuning into the wrong places. You know, the world's going to end in 3 days. We've heard that before, right? I'm leaving forever from YouTube, blah, blah, blah. I'm quitting prepping. And then, you know, I'm leaving YouTube and donate to the coffee, blah, blah, blah. Become a channel member. Well, why would I become a channel member if you're leaving YouTube? You understand? I mean, stuff just doesn't click to some people, I guess. But fear sells. And I know why it's being done. But I just feel compelled, like I am this morning, to say, look, you shouldn't be afraid of anything. And I then recovered in that conversation. I said, you need to think of it differently. You know, it's okay to be focused on certain things when it comes to prepping, but you shouldn't do it out of a place of fear. You shouldn't be afraid. I know, guys, I know the world's messed up right now. But honestly, when has the world not been messed up? Think about that. You know, even when we were on the gold standard, the world was messed up. Or even before that, when a silver dollar would buy you a lot, you know, you had to worry about getting scalped. You couldn't leave Dodge City, son. So the world has always been a mess. This country has always been a mess. And that's not going to change anytime soon. But obsessing over the news cycle over and over and over every single day, it doesn't help you as a prepper. It doesn't help you as a person, because it can give you health issues, I think. It doesn't help you as a Christian because, again, you're not supposed to be stressed in the first place. So I said, you know, I told her, I said, approach it like you're just focused on something. You know, and I said, honestly, at this stage in the game, I would just focus on one major thing at a time. And then, you know, she bounced it back and she said, well, John, what are you focused on right now? What's the biggest thing you're focused on? Is it World War III? Is it the food chain and the food supply running out because of tariffs? Is it the price of things? You know, the economy, possibly the economic collapse? Is it the fact that it seems like we're just spinning wheels up in D.C.? I hate to say it, but we're getting close to, if we're not already there, we're getting close to the 100-day mark. And I know it's going to take Trump a while, I get it. But my wife made the comment, Miss Nation, she made the comment the other day that it seems to her at this juncture in the game, the difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump's second term is chicken-flavored ramen noodles and beef-flavored ramen noodles. People are still eating ramen noodles. You understand? So I was expecting more by now from the economy, but I digress. And I told her, I said, you know, not to sound weird, but none of the above, and also all of the above. She said, what are you talking about? And I said, AI. AI is where my concern is at right now. It has been for a while. Because I think AI, we're going to get to a point very soon where AI can cause all of the above. It'll be able to cause an economic collapse. It'll be able to start a world war if it chooses to do so. It's going to be able to restrict movement. I said AI is really the one thing that enough people aren't talking about. I guess it's not sexy to talk about, or it doesn't bring a ton of clicks or whatever. You can't really sell. You can't shield for companies because, you know, anti-AI or whatever. You know, it's harder to sell Minuteman rocket stoves when you're talking about AI. I don't really know what the deal is, but people just aren't focused on AI. I think the problem we have in this country, even the prepping community, very short-sighted sometimes. We're looking at what's directly in front of us. And I'm not a short-sighted person. People are asking about the tariffs. The one thing that I would worry about with the tariffs is our ability to get medications, over-the-counter medications, specifically. Beyond that, we have most of the stuff that we're going to need here in the United States. I mean, this is going to affect toys. This is going to affect electronics. This is going to affect cheaply made sweatshop clothes and shoes. These tariffs, I'm saying, car parts and stuff like this. But we're not going to starve. We have plenty of food here. You understand? People hoard the wrong things. Now, I've never really understood this. They'll probably start hoarding Similac again and diapers again because they're just panicking. They're afraid. To the other creators that do that, they are afraid. These people whip whip the average viewer up into a panic, and then they sit back and they say, why are people hoarding Similac? Well, because they think they're going to run out, fool. That's why. Because of people like you spreading that nonsense. When it's made here in the United States. Prices will probably go up for sure. But again, when have they went down? You know, since pre-pandemic. Do you remember one single time the prices have went down really on anything? Maybe 5 cents here or there on gas, but it always seems to go back up or something like that. So I'm looking long term, and I see AI. And really, the one creator that I know of, there are probably others, but the one that I know of that realizes it's such a huge threat, because he's done a video in the past, I'm like, he gets it. He gets it. Now, it's been several months ago, but that's MD Creekmore. He gets it. He understands AI is no good. They're going to usher it in as they always do. They're going to say, oh, man, look at this convenience, the generative AI. Look at all these cool things that it can do. And it's going to do some neat things. It's going to advance, I think, medicine. You know, even in the book writing industry, these things can work as line editors at this point, really good ones. I'm not saying they're perfect, but very close. There's a lot of things that AI can do now, but it's the tip of the iceberg. And people, I think people are looking at AI and they're thinking the worst thing is going to be job loss. There's going to be a lot of job loss, for sure. We've already seen some. But again, tip of the iceberg. We talk about our phones tracking us. We talk about always being monitored, always being tracked. What do you think they're going to do with AI? You know, admittedly, again, I'm old, son. And I hail from a time when everything was form-based, where you literally had to write it out on the form or color in circles and things like this. Hasn't been that way for a long time. Trust me. I challenge you, the next time you go in for a checkup at the doctor, or you go to the transportation place to get your tags renewed or anything, look around. See if you walk in and everything is paper-based, or if they're using computers that are connected to the internet. Hospitals can't function now without the internet. Doctors' offices can't function. Dentist's office can't function. Stores can't function. The Walmart that we have here, now it's been a while, but the internet was down. And they just shut the doors. Like, they still have electricity, they still have working registers, but they have people that can't count back from $1, right? I'm not putting anybody down, but I'm just saying people haven't been taught to count back from $1. They don't know how to survive without the internet. And the internet is like a really cheap moonshine. Okay, this is a weird analogy, but it's like a really cheap moonshine. Generative AI, what a fancy word, right? It's hard to say. It's like blue flame. I mean, this stuff is like Everclear, son. It's pure, 200 proof. And it's going to be so much worse. So much worse. And us, being the idiots we are, not us here on this channel. I'm not, please don't be that dude back. John just called me an idiot. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying Americans in general and other countries. Let's face it, other societies. We're going to be dumb enough to plug everything in. It's already in the works, but we're going to plug in weapon systems. We're going to plug in the banking system. We're going to plug in everything. All of the, the grid, all of the vital stuff that we need, because, again, oh my God, it's so convenient. And we're going to run aground. And so this is why, one of the reasons at least, I've been stacking physical media for over a year. Over a year. People think I'm nuts. I got a couple of friends, not the same ones that helped me with the channel. James is one of them. He doesn't get it, I think. Caveman James, but I got another friend too, Marcus. And like, What are you doing? This stuff, you can stream this stuff. Why are you stacking it? And I'm like, okay, there's several reasons. Number one, I got an off-air antenna. Y'all know what those are, right? The digital off-air antennas for $3 on my clearance aisle at Walmart. Picks up like 22, 23 channels. Yeah, they show ads on there or whatever, but I said you get bombarded with ads when you stream, okay? Most of the ads are super woke, let's be honest. And they're constantly moving stuff around. They're putting stuff behind paywalls. And so these two friends, they're sitting back like, why would you stack physical media? It's so much easier to stream. And I'm like, you're paying $70 a month to have different streaming services and gaming services. And you're seeing advertisements. You're seeing more ads than you are actual TV and movie. Whereas I can just pop the physical media in and get rolling. You know what I mean? And so to me, it makes sense. To some, it might not. I don't know. The only thing I'm not stacking, I think I'd mentioned last time, being in a laser disc. Man, I'm hesitant on that one because I don't want to spend 300 plus bucks and get a laser disc player that's 30 years old and may only work for a week, 5 days or a week or something. So I've kind of pumped the brakes on that. But VCR tapes, DVDs, Blu-rays, I'm not doing 4K. Number one, they're expensive. Number two, internet connectivity. You almost need it for the 4K, so it really doesn't make sense. Cartridge-based video games, stacking those as I can find them. CDs, cassettes, and LPs, vinyl. I've started stacking that as well. So it's all commercial free. You don't need Spotify when you just put that vinyl on. You know what I mean? So board games. Somebody mentioned last time that they're into board games again. Forgive me, I forget who left that comment, but yeah, I've got tons of those. Now mine are mostly World War II themed outer based or whatever, but I respect it. I respect it. And you don't have to pay for it. Once you buy it or get a good deal, you really don't have to pay anything else. And so I'm very excited. Not for the bear I was telling y'all about. I'll update y'all as that goes down because something's gotta give here. But I'm very excited for spring and summer because flea markets are big here during that time. Yard sales. We can drive down to Whitfield, Virginia, which is a little over 20 minutes away. And that's the beginning of a 100-mile yard sale where every other house has a huge yard sale out. So it's pretty interesting, but I plan on stacking up physical media. Usually this stuff is dirt cheap when you find it. And so yeah. I'm going to be diving into Apocalypse Now. So I will talk about that on the next video. I know it's been out for a while. It's not a brand new movie. And I know it's a war movie. I just have never gotten around to... I've tried a couple times, but then I had to go run errands, and I just never got back to watching it. So I'm going to sit down finally, and I'm going to watch that movie because I hear so many good things about it. But I'm going to give you an honest review on that next time. And, of course, we'll talk about prepping-related stuff. Folks, we're not alone. They're already here among us. That should give you conspiracy, folks. Do some digging around. That's all I'm saying. Y'all take care. God bless.